Jake took the 15-year mortgage. He'd done the math. The 15-year saves over $180,000 in interest compared to the 30-year on the same house. Every finance guru he'd ever watched said the same thing. If you can afford the higher payment, take the shorter loan. So Jake stretched. He took it. Marcus took the 30-year on the same house, the same week, from the same lender. His logic was simpler. Lower payment, more flexibility, more breathing room. He told himself he'd invest the difference. 15 years later, Jake's mortgage is paid off. Marcus still has 15 years left on his. By every conventional measure, Jake won. Less interest paid, house owned outright. The disciplined choice, the responsible choice. Except Jake didn't win, and Marcus didn't either, because there's a third path almost nobody talks about, the one the 15-year crowd never runs the math on, and the one Marcus thought he was on but never actually executed. Professor Wealth ran the numbers across all three. The result isn't what either of them expected. The 15-year mortgage isn't the disciplined choice the gurus told you it was, and the 30-year mortgage isn't the lazy choice the gurus warned you about. The actual smartest choice is hiding in the math nobody shows you. Here's what he found. Before we get to where both of them went wrong, let's give both sides their fair shot, because the standard arguments aren't stupid. They're just incomplete. The case for the 15-year mortgage is the one you've heard 100 times. The interest rate is lower, typically 0.5 to 0.75 percentage points below the 30-year rate. You build equity faster because more of every payment goes to principal instead of interest. You pay drastically less interest over the life of the loan, and at the end, you own your home outright in half the time. The emotional payoff is real. No mortgage payment, no bank breathing down your neck. The disciplined choice. The case for the 30-year mortgage is also reasonable. The monthly payment is significantly lower, which means more cash flow flexibility every month. If you lose your job or face a medical bill or a kid's college tuition, you're not locked into a payment that strangles you. You have more breathing room. And the lower required payment doesn't stop you from paying extra when you can. It just doesn't force you to. Both sides have a point, but both sides are missing the same thing. The conversation almost always stops at interest paid versus payment size, as if those are the only two variables that matter. They're not. The variable that decides this entire question is sitting somewhere neither side is looking. Let's run the actual numbers. Jake bought a $400,000 home with $80,000 down. That left him with a $320,000 loan. He chose the 15-year at 6.0%. His monthly principal and interest payment came out to roughly $2,700. Marcus bought the same house, same down payment, same loan amount. He chose the 30-year at 6.5%. His monthly payment came out to roughly $2,022. The difference between their payments? About $678 a month. Hold on to that number. It's the entire video. Now let's follow Jake through 15 years. He pays $2,700 every month on time for 15 years. At the end, his loan is paid off. Total interest paid over the life of the loan, about $166,000. His house, assuming a 3% annual appreciation rate, which is below the historical U.S. average, is now worth approximately $646,000. Jake owns it outright. His net position from the mortgage strategy alone, $646,000. By every metric the 15-year crowd uses, Jake won. He paid less interest, he owns his home, he's mortgage-free at 45 instead of 60. He did everything the gurus told him to do. But here's what nobody mentions. Jake had no extra money to invest from his mortgage strategy. He didn't have a payment difference to redirect. Every spare dollar from his housing budget went into the higher payment. Whatever he invested over those 15 years came from other parts of his income, which would have been the same regardless of which mortgage he chose. So that money cancels out of the comparison. Jake's 15-year mortgage didn't just pay off a house, it forced him to concentrate 15 years of cash flow into a single illiquid asset. We'll come back to what that cost him. Marcus paid $2,022 a month for 15 years. He told himself when he signed the papers that he was going to invest the $678 monthly difference into an index fund. That was the plan. That was the whole reason he chose the 30-year over the 15-year in the first place. After 15 years of payments, Marcus has paid about $185,000 in interest, already more than Jake will pay over his entire 15-year loan. And the remaining loan balance? Approximately $235,000. Out of a $320,000 original loan, after 15 years of paying, he still owes more than 73% of the original principal. That's how amortization works on a 30-year mortgage. The early years are almost entirely interest. So far, this looks like exactly the kind of disaster the 15-year crowd warned about. But the real damage isn't in the loan balance. It's in what Marcus didn't do. Marcus didn't invest the $678 a month. He told himself he would. Some months, he did transfer a few $100s into a brokerage account. Most months, the money got absorbed into life. A vacation here, a car repair there, a kid's activity fee, a slightly nicer dinner on a Friday night. None of it felt reckless. None of it felt like a betrayal of the plan. It just happened. After 15 years, Marcus's investment account has maybe $30,000 in it, instead of the $215,000 it should have had if he'd actually executed his plan. This is the cautionary tale the 15-year crowd points to. And here's the uncomfortable truth. They're not wrong about Marcus. The behavioral failure rate on this strategy is real. Most people who choose the 30-year for flexibility do exactly what Marcus did. The intent is there, the follow-through isn't. If the choice is between Jake and Marcus, between the forced discipline of the 15-year and the failed good intentions of the 30-year, Jake wins every time. That's the argument the gurus are making. And in that comparison, they're right. But that's not the only comparison. There's a third person, and she's the one this video is actually about. Imagine a third person. Same house, same down payment, same 30-year mortgage as Marcus. Same $2,022 monthly payment. Same $678 monthly difference compared to the 15-year. But this person actually invests the $678 every month automatically into a broad market index fund. We'll call her Mia. Let's run the math on what Mia looks like at year 15. At a 7% real return, which is below the historical S&P 500 long-run average, investing $678 a month for 15 years results in approximately $215,000 in the account. Now compare all three of them at year 15. Jake, house worth $646,000. Mortgage paid off. Invested assets from this strategy, 0. Net position, $646,000. Marcus, house worth $646,000. Mortgage balance, $235,000. Invested assets, $30,000. Net position, $441,000. Maya, house worth $646,000. Mortgage balance, $235,000. Invested assets, $215,000. Net position, $626,000. At year 15, Jake is still slightly ahead of Mia, about $20,000 ahead on paper. This is where most analyses stop, and this is where most analyses are wrong. Because year 15 isn't the finish line. Year 30 is. Both mortgages were originally compared on a 30-year horizon. Let's run it forward. From year 15 to year 30, Jake has no mortgage payment. He can now redirect his old $2,700 monthly payment into investments. 15 more years of compounding at 7% on $2,700 a month gives Jake approximately $680,000 in new investments by year 30. His house, at 3% appreciation, is now worth $1,005,000. Jake's total net position at year 30, $1,685,000. Mia continues paying her $2,022 mortgage payment from year 15 to year 30. She continues investing her $678 monthly difference. And critically, the $215,000 she already had at year 15 keeps compounding for another 15 years, even as she keeps adding to it. By year 30, her investment account holds approximately $1,290,000. Her mortgage is paid off. Her house is worth $1,005,000. Mia's total net position at year 30, $2,295,000. Mia ends up roughly $610,000 ahead of Jake. Read that number again. $610,000. On the same house, the same down payment, the same total income. By choosing the 30-year